Well, guys, it's been great so far. We want to transition now to a segment that we call start, sub, or sit. And what we'll do is we'll give you 3 different basketball topics, ask you to start one, sub one, and then sit one. But since we have, father-son duo on the same staff, we're going to play this a little bit differently. We've done this one other time before, and where the old newlywed game where we'll ask one person what we think the other person's answers will be on it, and then that person can confirm how close or off they were with their answers.
For me, in terms of staying employed right here, like I better give it
a live interview for you right now.
Yeah. Right.
So what we'll do is we'll start, and I will. I'm going to ask Eric on this one what he thinks Mike's answer would be, and then Mike, you can follow up after.
Do I have to close my ears? Or
No. You can listen, and you can. I know you're sitting right next to each other, so if you want to just give him some heat with a stare, you can do that too. But the concept for this is areas on the floor to trap. So the start would be where, which one of these would be you would like to trap most, or where you think Mike would like to trap most. So start, sub, or sit, a post double. So coming and trapping down on a post, on a side pick and roll. So trapping on the side, or trapping a baseline drive. So the help comes over, you stay, and maybe you trap down the baseline. So start, sub, sit. Eric, what you think Mike's answer would be on those 3 trapping areas?
He's going to start trapping the wing pick and roll, especially if it's a step up.
Okay.
Can I put that caveat in there?
Yeah. You can. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to sub the post double, and he's going to sit the double on the baseline drive.
Okay. Mike, how did he do?
He aced it. So,
yeah.
And we've had these discussions so many times. We're probably on the same page. I don't know if he would.
If anything, you get mad when people overhelp on the baseline drive off the weak side corner and give up the
3 in the
draw and kick corner drift 3.
So he's got it nailed. I think
there's no secrets left in this family.
Yeah, that's accurate.
We'll see if we can find them. Well, then I'd love to start with your start. So Mike, Eric said you would definitely start trapping the wing pick and roll, especially if it's a step up. Could you explain why?
Yeah, I think for one thing, you have the sideline as another defender. I think that ball handlers tend to bring it up toward their strong hand. And now when you trap them, you're forcing them to get out of it or pass out of it with their weak hand a lot. I think that, depending on the size of the screener, you take away passing vision. I just think and if they get the ball out, you're not in an immediately vulnerable position where they're going to be at the rim scoring. I think that would be the biggest reason there. And I just think that, we give sometimes too much credit to ball handlers in our league that, we probably could trap a little bit more than we have in the past.
Haven't been aggressive enough. Yep.
But I would say in general, if you're going to trap that, your whole team should be coming to the ball side of the floor. You should make somebody have to throw a cross-court skip pass to beat you.
I definitely think it's easier if that corner is empty.
Yep.
If they emptied out and you could put 3 people behind the ball, you can really get more aggressive.
Yep.
Because you got a lot of bodies back there.
One quick follow-up with the post double, and I know it's going to depend on the player, but just this could be for either one of you, but just preferring to come on a pass, on a dribble, on once they get a piece of the paint. I mean, has there been a consistency as to when you might like to come and double?
Again, I mean, and I don't mean this as a bailout. It would be more scouting report. I think there's a lot of players, post players, who are not particularly good passers off the dribble. And so we would probably, if we were going to err, we would err on the side of the dribble. But there are those you can come on right away and they will panic a little bit or dribble out. The best ones probably not. The best ones in our league probably see over ours. The size.
The ones that are worth doubling in our league,
they're so big.
Aren't going to are not panic. Brittany Grinders looks over the top of you.
I mean,
right.
So good. I mean, she all through the playoffs this year, she threw skip passes to people on the weak side because she can see over everybody. Sometimes you send a little player to bother her. You're not really bothering her. It's like a little mat down there.
You're better off going and trying attack the dribble.
I think the teams that do the best double teams and post-ups in our league are the ones that have extra size on the court, and so that they are sending a long, lengthy person. Seattle did it to us. They played a very big lineup, and they were able to send, Brianna Stewart or Samuelson or somebody that had length and size to the double team and still have another big on the court on the backside to protect.
Yeah.
If you send two bigs in our league and you don't have any size anywhere else, you can get pounded on the offensive boards, or you're going to give up stuff on the weak side that you don't want to. We did our best double teaming when we had a big lineup on the floor.
Moving along, our next one. So I'm going to be asking Mike for Eric's answer here. And this is themed about tough to teach. So tough to teach switching concepts, let's say. So start, sober, sit, the triple switch out of the pick and roll, switching flares, or the peel switch. So kind of on the drive, that go switch where they rotate over and you just go off the ball.
I think he would say the flare would be the one you would sit.
Okay.
I would say the triple switch would be the one that you would sub. And I think the peel switch would be the one he would say is the most difficult right now for us right now. We got better, but I think that we haven't had to deal with the flare one as much. Maybe it could be the sit one. I don't know. The triple switch is something we've practiced now for a long period of time. I guess it depends on your team. If you have a veteran team, then maybe it's not. I think I'm taking it from the standpoint that we've gotten pretty good at it. But I'll say that for sure the sitting one would be the flare one.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't know that we've switched flares much
Other than late game.
other than trying to take away threes. And in that case, you're not that worried about the slip at that
Okay.
point. So yeah, I think I'll sit that. I think the peel switch. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know. I think you're right. I think 3 for 3. The peel switch, I think it's been easier for us on the wing than the top of the floor.
Yep.
Because you're trying to figure out like who triggers it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've talked with NBA coaches and stuff about that. Like if you're going to peel switch at the top of the floor, is it the big's call, or is the guard making the decision? Because I think you're always worried about if it's the guard making the decision that they just get lazy, just want to bail out of there.
Yeah. Switch. Yeah.
And the big that guard that's attacking the big, big, it's your problem.
Yeah,
now.
you go ahead. I'm not going to hustle that hard to get back. So
Sure.
we've actually turned some of our peel switching on the wing into triple switching. And we've gotten pretty good at that, but I think that's because triple switching is probably not as hard of a concept, at least for our players.
Yeah, we've just got the league in general is good at the triple switch in our
We're
league.
probably ahead of the
Yeah.
league. I mean, I think about the Indiana Fever back in the day. Like they that was like ahead of time.
Eric, if I can just maybe if you can walk us through the peel triple switch or what? So what is that from a top drive?
No, I would say more from a wing, like icing a wing ball screen, right? So you ice it, you're peeling it back. So the guard's peeling back to the screener, and then that screener dives, and we're coming to take it with the next, probably the bigger defender that's on the baseline. And the hardest part for us is getting Natasha Cloud to be willing to be bumped out in triple switch because she wants to fight every post up as a guard, which we love her for. But so that's just. That and then that gets into our scan report, like who are we letting stay on the mismatch versus who are we triple switching and bumping.
It'll be different next year when we have Alicia Clark back because she can do that triple switch.
Oh, we won't even need a triple switch.
Well, as I say, she could do it. She could be the one that comes from the weak side and take it, or she could say, no, I don't need anybody to triple switch. I got the post player because I've defended him long enough. And that was something, we couldn't do as much this year because we didn't have that size that we've had. We had Aerial Powers before when we won the championship, same size, big guard that can switch and deal with a peel switch and take it themselves.
Yeah, I think everybody in the league got used to triple switching on horns. And then when we transferred that to like a wing ball screen out of the ice, it made more sense to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And would it be a call from you guys, or would it be if the ball handler gets just deep enough, we're automatically switching and looking to, triple switch out?
It was generally a call for us based on who the screener is. Like if that screener is a shooter or not, we would tend to switch more on the shooter. And then if they tried to dive down the mismatch, we'd bump it out. If they want to pop back and stay on the perimeter, then we don't need to triple switch. We'll just stay, single switch matched up.
And back to your previous question with a pet peeve. So if that guard drove against the big and they went baseline, I would yell at anybody that ran in off a shooter to help on that one. If that guard's behind the backboard. So that would add into the pet peeve before.
Full circle.
Yeah, definitely. My next one now. So I'm going to be asking Eric again for Mike's answer on this. And this is themed misleading game stats. So you look after the game, you look at the sheet stats. So you look at the stat sheet and you're trying to quickly determine who play well or not. And so some of the stats that can be a little misleading from an individual player perspective, not full team perspective, but an individual. So an individual player's shooting percentage, their total rebounds, or their assists. So start would be the most misleading.
I'm inclined.
I already got my answer.
I'm inclined to say the total rebounds is the most misleading, but I think you would say that. Well, you're going to say that because that's like your pet peeve is not rebounding percentage. Okay, I'm going to start total rebounds.
Okay.
Where it started that I would be most
misleading.
Okay.
Most misleading. Yeah.
I'm gonna sub assists.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sit shooting percentage.
Okay.
I have a debate. I think the assist one might be the most misleading one.
Right.
And only because you can make those same passes and somebody misses wide open shots as a teammate. I think rebounds, unless you're getting your own misses, it's like 4-on-1 possession, can still be an effort stat. So I might put that in the middle. The shooting percentage, he's got that nailed. But I would say the assist can be misleading because I've seen people who have had low assists and make great passes all night. And I've seen people who have made assists because their teammates are rolling that night. They're making layups, but it's kind of a tie there.
I would like to file a formal complaint because I've heard
I know
about total rebounds versus rebounding percentage for 20 years.
I know. No. I agree. I agree with him. The rebound percentage is a lot more valuable. And I
know that's different for an individual player.
An individual player, but I also don't like rebounds for the ones that we have somebody who went 4 for 11 and got 6 offensive rebounds, and they were all their own misses because they weren't.
Right.
Double whammy.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of ways, a lot of follow-ups here I have, but the first one was, and when Pat and I were discussing this question, it was because, as a coach, you look at the stats right after the game and you make a kind of a quick summation of how players played. And sometimes you go back on the film and, like you said, someone might have had 2 assists and you said they didn't play well, but then someone missed 6 or 7 wide open shots, and it's really different. I want to ask about though the shooting percentage, and the reason we put that in there is because there's games where players just don't shoot it well, but maybe the shot selection was great versus games where maybe they shot it okay, but they took tough shots, and sort of the ways that you look at the film and have the discussions after about if someone is or is not struggling shooting the ball.
I look at that more as a team thing. I think if you got good shots and they didn't go in, that's still a good team game. Did you get and take good shots? But I do think a player over the course of time, you can't be a 30-something% shooter and be helping your team that much offensively. Maybe on a couple shots, but if you're an integral part of your team's offense, and then that's one of your main roles is to make shots. You shoot 30% in the game. You probably didn't help your team. You might now, if they also had 6 assists and 8 rebounds and a couple steals, I would say they did other things to help your team. But the fact of the matter is, you got to make shots.
I thought about it more when I was thinking about your answer. Was you are inclined to leave somebody in the game, maybe a bench player, like you're willing to roll with a bench player if they're in a good rhythm shooting the ball, and not just stick to kind of like a program lineup or something. You're willing to look down like, I know we're supposed to put her back in the game, but she's got to go. And like, I'm going to let her play.
Yep.
Absolutely. And how about just the rebounding one was also interesting to Pat and I were talking because, sometimes with guards trying to get in there and rebound, and let's say you have a Tina Charles or someone that just eats up all the boards. And so your guards don't look like they're rebounding that well, but it's because you have great, maybe interior rebounders. Is there another way to continue to motivate them to go to the boards, or are you looking more at, are they boxing out their player? How do you view that?
I would say it's more of a box out thing on the defensive end. I'm looking at the other team. I'll give you an example. Like when we play Atlanta, and Courtney Williams is one of the best offensive rebounding guards in our league. Did we keep her off the board? So, I might even look at the rebounding like, did we keep somebody on the other team to a minimum? I think I would look at it that way. Not so much our own individual, but did we keep other people from having an effect on the game?
Our last one, and again, I'm asking Mike for Eric's answer. And this one is themed around pick and roll, like spacing concepts. Looking at all the ways you can run a pick and roll, empty side, ball screen, step up screen. How many, as a successful team, do you think you need to really master and focus at? So start, sub, or sit, 2, 3, or 4, like certain pick and roll spacings and being able to solve them.
For offensively.
Yeah, offensively.
Oh, well then 4, 3, and 2.
Okay.
Start 4.
Yeah.
Sub 3, sit 2, because I think you see so many different kinds of defenses that you have to be able to make people pay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to. Well, that's my thing. I'll let it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I think like, especially with the personnel that we've had a good pick and roll team. So we've had to be really versatile. I mean, I remember spending half the time I would spend in the playoffs in 2019, just like looking at ways we could manipulate help. And we just try to have a wrinkle for where we put somebody else. Based on coverage. So I think, you got to be able to go single side, like single side shake up. You got to be able to go step up. You got to be able to put over empty
slip.
Corner. I mean, we had Latoya Sanders with an empty corner. We had Elena with corner fill. We had with pick and roll with our other big in the corner. Like 2
bigs on the same side, because you put people like, you would know that the other team, if you did a pick and roll with your 5, they would help off the 4. Well, if our 4 is Elena Deladon standing behind the 3-point line, we skewed the whole defense. When you said 4, 3, and 2, I thought you kind of got me off the hook, because I was at like 7, 6, and 5.
Okay. Yeah. No.
You have switching ones. You have all of those situations. The triple switch. You have all those things you got to deal with. Moving the people that when we played Connecticut, they always have somebody standing at the nail ready to help. So how do you make that person pay? Well, that person might only guard one person on that side. There's no help for them. We've run people through on the play. So, you see it's a chess match every night at the pro level on pick and rolls and what coverages you can get.
We see, like when we've had Elena or even Tina this year, we see every coverage. She sees every coverage over the course of a year and sometimes within a game. So we have to be able to adapt, or we're just going to get bogged down.
Yeah, no. And I guess that this question was kind of formed around, being simplistic versus complex in your offense, and just like, hey, we're going to run them all the course of the game, but let's like master the top pick and roll and knowing all the solutions. And just, kind of the theory or, the debate that goes on between, spending time, like you said, we got to be able to do all of them versus, let's just always try to get to a mid ball screen and just go from there.
I think we've probably spent as much time with as we do with alignments with knowing our own personnel, and I think that's like huge angles. When we played 2 point guards a lot when we had Christy Tolliver and Natasha Cloud, and you couldn't screen for them the same way. Mm-hmm. We knew the coverage would be different based on who was in it, so we had to get really good at anticipating the one step ahead. Like they're going to try to go under. So we're going to adjust our angle like this, which means we need this next person spaced a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I remember standing with Christy Tolliver in training camp that year going, like, we have to try to be the best offensive team in the league, which means we have to like take a lot of care about where we're like literally where we're standing. Like if you're not in the action, like you cannot be just convenient with your standing and your spacing. You actually have to be deliberate about, I'm standing here because of this. And
I can't be this close to my teammate. I have to be farther away.
And we got really meticulous. Like we used our pre-practice time to talk about that stuff. We spent time on it, practice, shoot arounds. Like we got, I don't know, some would call me obsessed with it. I probably got a little borderline obsessed with it that year.
I will tell you though, to win a championship in our league, and the NBA will tell you the same thing, to win a championship, you have to be so good at that. That it's more schemes, to your point about, we got to be really good at one or two things, but I think that to be the best team, you got to be really good at a lot of things offensively.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, guys, you're off the start, sub, or sit hot seat. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for going through and playing. And you definitely have some good staff synergy. For sure. So.
Far too agreeable. That's not how our meetings are.
Yeah.